3, 2, 1.
Bam.
Hey everybody, it's that time again. That's right. It's
It's howdy doody time. It's howdy.
Wrong. Boom. That's the wrong era. Wrong era. It's Interfleet Broadcasting, and it's our pop culture sci-fi entertainment channel. It's brought to you by, you guessed it, two guys grew up watching 70s and 80s TV, movies, cartoons, and the like. I'm New York Pete. And this is my buddy, Chris, the Tipsy Toaster. Chris?
Hey, everybody. Welcome. If you haven't been to us before, we're glad you're here. That's pretty much it. We got a bunch of our regulars popping on. We have Lola. She was a showgirl. We got Carl.
Carl, yep.
He's probably flying the Viper in his garage right now.
I hope he is. Hey, Paul Roeder.
Paul.
Commander Kane,
yep.
representing. Paul, thank you so much for joining us. Guys, all of you, everybody. Linda Russell. Surprise! Linda Russell.
Yay.
All right. Linda's watching from England. And we have a guest tonight, since our theme is Buck Rogers, amongst all the other things we do. And our guest, Mr. Paul Evans, is also south of England, right? The southern part of England. And so he is with us live as well. He's going to be our guest. So, Linda, you have a comrade in arms here with us tonight. And as you guys pop up, obviously, we're going to call you out. Mr. Paul Roeder, Colonial Warriors, also known as Commander Kane. Thank you for joining us. Brigitte from Austria. Thank you for joining us. As a matter of fact, why don't we just go ahead and thank everybody for buying rounds of drinks for us.
Well, of
Brigitte,
course.
Fran, David Alexander, thank you so much for picking up the bill or the tab tonight. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Mediocre Modeler, good evening to you. Jeff Anthony, I'm tuned in and laser focused. Be careful for UFOs, Mr. Jeff. I am worried about you, and that is just some serious stuff I dropped on you. Anyway, okay.
They just had the meeting in Washington, so
yeah, they did, and the outcome is the truth is out there. That's what Jeff says. I don't doubt it. Yeah, it could be. So everybody, tonight we're doing a bunch of stuff. Obviously, Tiny Bean, Tara's on, and like I said, we have Mr. Paul Evans from the Buck Rogers in the 25th Century Fan Club on Facebook. He's with us as well. And we have our Star Wars update it's a special report from Mr. Chris Fian, and he is the garrison commander of the 501st Legion's Empire City Garrison, the ECG, which I actually trooped with for about 6 years. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in everywhere around the world. We have fans. I mean, it just blows the mind that our fans are in everywhere. Chris.
It blows your mind that there's that many crazy people out there.
Yes, like us, just like us. That's the fandom. You keep talking about the fandom.
The fandom.
Right? That's it. So,
fans fuel the fleet. Fans also fuel the crazy people, like us.
Like us. So, Chris, you set? I know. You got your hands full.
You got your beer?
You got a lot of guests. Yeah, I got it. As a matter of fact, Chris,
again,
I actually went to Angry.
No,
Orchard.
You're kidding. A cidery?
Up there.
You and Pete?
At the cidery.
I bet you did that close to your birthday.
I did. That was my birthday weekend. I went up to Angry Orchard. I checked it out. It's a very cool place. And
if you weren't going there, you'd still have a car.
That is correct. Because Tesla, right? Tesla, he got even with me, right?
Cadet Cree was flying a little too close to your tailpipe, and you hit the brakes.
That's what happened. Yeah, and I now will be the proud owner of a new vehicle in the worst history of buying vehicles. Yeah. So, yep. All right. That is
now
what
is
it
not the
is.
time to buy a vehicle or a house.
Correct. And I had
So
to
you've
get a
got
car.
Angry Orchard cider. I have, which one is it? Crisp apple. Okay. I have, this is weird. I have the Duck Rabbit Milk Stout.
Oh boy. Oh my God. Does that have milk
So
in
it looks like a duck or it looks like a rabbit. It's your choice. You can figure it out which one you want it to be. So it's the Duck Rabbit.
It has one red eye.
Yes.
Is
it's
that
a
like a
rabbit or a
mechanical-
duck. You can't see that?
What?
You can't tell if it's a duck or a rabbit.
Looks like a Cylon, like a creepy thing to me, man.
Okay, well, there's the rabbit piece. That would be his nose with the ears.
Oh, all right. Yeah,
And then the duck piece would be his bill, and that would be his eye.
right. So it's like you mean like a puppet rabbit, like
Yeah,
a
it's
sock.
one of those rabbit things. So it's the dark beer specialist is what they call it. So hey, we'll give this a shot.
Yes.
Ready?
You know what?
I got my-
Jeff
Ready
says
to go.
Jeff Anthony says the opposite of the happiest place on the earth is the angry orchard. Clay Arden, thanks for joining us. Take your bottle, bootlegger.
Bootlegger.
Yeah, it looks like a Cylon duck. That's what I said. All right. Ready?
What kind of crime is Starbucking?
Yeah. All right, 1, 2, 3, go. Okay.
I'll get that later.
Yeah, just throw it on the floor.
That's it.
You have no manners. You're
Ready?
Cylon. Yeah, let's go.
Let me. I might need a spoon. Oh yeah.
Oh, God, if it has milk, I feel sorry for you.
No, I don't think it's a milk stout.
All those
Yeah, it is a milk
lactose
stout.
intolerant
I can smell it.
people. Oh,
Where's
Chris
this from?
Liskowski from Down Under. Thank you
This
for
is from
joining us
North
live.
Carolina,
Duck
so-
looking left, rabbit looking to up and left. That is correct.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here we are.
This smells good. Put everybody on this. Put everybody on the screen.
Yes, get everybody up.
Everybody
Come
on the screen.
There we go. Everybody's there.
There we
Paul
go.
and Tara and Chris Fian is up. And all right. Hey, guys, Bran. Thank you for joining us, Bran.
There's everybody behind the
Local
scenes. Look, he's got a pint.
Oh, excellent.
All right.
Excellent.
So as we say, this is to all of you. We appreciate you being here. We believe that fans fuel the fleet. Therefore, this is for you. So here's to you, fans fuel the fleet.
All right. Ooh, that's good. Very, very good.
I gotta
Cheers.
chew that one.
Brigitte, cheers to everybody out there. Thanks for joining us, guys. We got a heck of a show tonight.
Oh,
Let's
that's good.
let's just is it?
Mhm.
Okay. 12 people viewing must be the 12th tribe. That's right, Paul. You
12
know
tribes. Well, that's just on
Yes,
Facebook. I think we got more on YouTube.
The Lords of Kobol are shining and smiling upon us. So, and you know what, Chris? Let's not forget to thank everybody that's going to watch this in syndication when
Yes.
everybody watches.
If you can't be here on the
rerun.
date and time that we broadcast, which is every Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern. Should I do that in a better
Yes.
voice?
8 o'clock Eastern every Thursday.
That's right.
Or I could do it the Stormtrooper voice, and we will honor Mr. Fian.
8 o'clock Thursdays.
So tonight, speaking of sci-fi and various types of, genres and I guess themes, tonight
Yep.
is our Buck Rogers theme.
Buck Rogers night.
Buck Rogers night. So let's bring on Tara. Tara's gonna, so obviously you guys that have been tuning in. What about you? What about you? That's right. TV and movie critic Tiny Bean Tara is with us, and let's get Tara up because there's a bunch of cool things that are actually on TV, and she's covering all that great stuff. So we're gonna get a little commentary, talk a little bit, and then right after that we're gonna jump right into Buck Rogers, followed by our Star Wars update with Mr. Fian. And take it from there, So, guys, remember, any questions or anything, just, send them our way. And everybody's going to watch this afterwards. Thank you for joining us. So, Tara, what gives?
Hey, guys. How's it going? It's great to be here.
Outstanding.
Going.
Outstanding. Excellent. Well, I have got tons of stuff to tell you tonight before we move into
Cool.
our Buck Rogers territory. So let me jump right in. So first up, if you are looking for something new to try that's right around the corner, so you don't have to wait for it, Amazon Prime is dropping a sci-fi series tomorrow that stars Sissy Spacek and J.K. Simmons, and it's called Night Sky. Now, Spacek and Simmons are supposed to play a retired couple, and they have a little secret. They have discovered a secret chamber buried in their backyard that mysteriously leads to a deserted planet. So,
What?
as often happens, right? Chaos, craziness is bound to ensue out of this, right? Now, it's drawing a lot of comparisons to Outer Range that we were talking about recently.
Oh yeah, that was
Tipsy.
a good show.
So it's drawing a lot of comparisons to Outer Range, and also people are referencing Dark. Remember on Netflix we talked about that? I love Dark. So check this one out, guys. It's going to start tomorrow. I'm really hoping for the best. Now, in Previews World, we had some very exciting drops and trailers in the last week and news. The Orville Season 3 trailer hit, and it looks spectacular.
Yeah, but they moved it to Hulu. Now I got to buy a Hulu subscription.
Yeah, I know.
But Hulu's not that expensive, and you can always drop it if you don't like it. That's what I say. So I try all of the systems, so you don't have to. There you go. So now this one is hitting on June 2nd, and yes, it is going to be on Hulu. Get your free trial now if you can. Creator and the star Seth MacFarlane, he's calling this a complete reset of the franchise. So there you go.
Wow.
So after so much time in limbo, could be interesting. And now I can't wait. I was a big fan of the original Orville when it started. And I thought, honestly, going in that it was going to be just a dumb collection of jokes and making fun of sci-fi shows, but it is not that at all. It has lots of humor, but it fits into the context of the stories that they're telling. But more importantly, I feel that it's a show that has a lot of love and a lot of reverence for the genre that defines what inspires them. You know what I mean? So I feel like these are definitely our kinds of people. So watch the Orville. Okay, these are fans. And if you haven't seen it, so go ahead, go back, watch the first, get back to me, let me know what you think, and then we can start the new season together in June, because it's right around the corner already. So very excited. No kidding. Yeah, right. Now, next up in new trailer world is Westworld Season 4.
Yes.
I wasn't expecting this right now, Pete. Were you? I went, wait, what? Westworld now? Okay. I'm so happy.
Bring it on.
I'm really excited. The trailer is such a great trailer. No dialogue, just Lou Reed's song Perfect Day playing throughout. Yep. Lots of cool stuff to see, lots of glimpses of all our favorite characters. HBO is now describing this season, without a hint of real-life irony, as a dark odyssey about the fate of sentient life on Earth.
Whoa.
I can't make it up. Yeah.
Well, it's got robots in it. We're good.
Got robots. We're all. So that one is coming to us at the end of June. So.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that too. And again, it was a surprise. I wasn't expecting it so soon. So yay. Now, what I like to say here in Tiny Bean's Corner, I like to point out new things to watch and discover that I think IFB fans will enjoy, based upon all our common likes and fandoms. And sometimes I get to talk about things that tie directly into what we enjoy. And I got to tell you, in that realm, I had some of the best news of my life this week. One of my all-time favorite shows from back in the day was Glenn A. Larson's The Fall Guy, starring the one and only $6 million man, Lee Majors. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, boy, did I adore this show when I was little. Majors, just to fill in the blanks and remind you all, he played Colt Seavers. He was the stuntman who also made ends meet by being a bounty hunter in his spare time, and he drove a really cool truck.
Oh, I love the truck.
Right, the truck. The truck is like a thing all on its own. I think it has its own fan page.
It actually does have its own fan page.
It does, right? Anyway, and you get
Heather
that.
Thomas.
Oh, I was gonna say, throw in the bumbling friend,
almost as good as Athena.
Oh yeah, it's two of my favorite female idols from when I was a child. But anyway, this is partly why I'm here, guys. Lots of action in the show, always lots of guest stars. It was just the perfect '80s show, you know. Now the news is, after years and years in development hell, they are finally making a film version. And it is rumored to star Ryan Gosling, who, to me, proves his chops in the Blade Runner sequel. And he's going to be playing Colt Seavers. So there you go. I've got high hopes for this being fabulous fun. And Glenn Eric Larson, who IFB fans might remember we had on a few months back, receiving the honorary award for his dad. We were actually chatting on a Facebook post last night about it, and he mentioned that The Fall Guy was one of his favorites. And he played the kid in the pilot episode who gets hit by Eddie Albert's car.
Yeah, it was. He said something to that when we do an interview. When we did an interview with him, he was like, "Dad was always killing me." In Galactica 1980, they tried to kill him there, and then of course in the Fall Guy, they tried to kill him.
Amazing. And he also told me, worth checking out, there's a documentary on the show. It's only about 15 minutes long, and it's on YouTube. And you just type in Fall Guy documentary, and I watched it like 5 times last night. It's so good. And it explains so much about like how the theme song, The Unknown Stuntman, was really how the show even got made. And other great tidbits that I will not give away. Please watch it. You'll enjoy it. And as soon as I hear more news about this movie, you know I will be telling you all about it. So that's my big happy preview news. And now let me turn to some Star Trek. Now, I know the last time we were here, we were talking about Picard, and I was hoping you guys are all caught up now because I didn't want to say anything. What did you think, Pete?
I liked it. I enjoyed it. It a lot. The cameos and there was some good ones in there. I thought it was good. It was well written, and well performed. The dialogue was good. Discovery, I gotta admit, the last season left me with some doubt as to where they were gonna go. I don't know if they moved maybe some of the writers. Picard was good, but I gotta tell you. There was 2 episodes have been released of the new Star Trek. Ooh, boy, baby! Oh yeah, all the way.
Love it. I mean, and I agree with everything you said about Picard. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was delightful. They summed everything up this season really well. And then I'm saying, well, they summed it up really well, but I'm kind of unsure where they're going with next season. Yeah. But you know what? Yeah. They're bringing the entire cast of Next Generation on for next season, so I don't really care where they go. Okay, thank you.
I went back and I started watching the original episode, Assignment Earth, with Gary Seven, and it was like, you know what? They did it right. It was cool, very cool. Yeah. So I really liked that. But I went. There was, at the Paley Center in Manhattan, they did a whole premiere for Strange New World, and there's an exhibit and there's a collection of some of the uniforms and props. And next week, tune in because I'm going to share some of the pictures I took. Phenomenal stuff. You could actually get up really close so you could see the detailing. Oh yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
I can't wait. Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, this Strange New Worlds is really, really good. I'm in like Trekkie kid heaven. I love the cast. I love the throwback feel of the sets and the costumes and the stories. Just keep bringing me more of this. I keep saying. I'm like,
it is. It's good. It really is.
They're all good, and I love how they're exploring each character. I feel like that's what we're going to see. We're going to see a little bit of each character's development in each episode, kind of like they used to do in the earlier ones. And I want to just special shout out to Celia Rose Gooding, the talented young Broadway actress who is playing the young Uhura. I think she's fantastic, and I absolutely adored Uhura when I was a kid. I don't know, I was surprised. The little girl loved the girl on the show, but yeah, it was just so great to see a woman on the bridge. And I think that really helped fuel my lifelong sci-fi obsession. And I think Celia is definitely capturing this time in a character's life that we haven't really been too privy to before. This is Uhura very young. She's on her first assignments with Starfleet. And
she's a cadet.
Right, she's a cadet. It's like, so she's so enthusiastic, but she's also, a little nervous, and it's just absolutely charming. And at the end of I don't want to give anything away, but at one point, Captain Pike explains the mission, and it sounds so exciting and cool, and she just responds with "cool." It made me so happy. I was like, "Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking right now. Is cool." So I'm so pleased, and I love Hit It. That's wow, yeah, bring it on. Just please, just bring me more, please, and thank you to the Star Trek people.
Absolutely, it's all good.
It's all good. I cannot wait for the next one. So that is where I am at in Tiny Bean's Corner, and I'm glad you guys are following with me on this.
100%. So thank you. And Baz from Down Under is on with us. So Baz, thanks for joining us. Appreciate the support and coming on. So you're gonna be spinning out there and flying around and getting us some more info, Tiny Bean, Tara, and looking forward to the next report. And keep watching. And here's to you.
Oh, thank you so much. Cheers to the fleet, guys.
Cheers.
Bye.
All right, take
care.
care.
Thank you.
So tonight, there's a lot of cool TV on, man. Just almost too much. But tonight is actually our Buck Rogers.
What about Buck?
Okay, so I hope everybody recognizes.
You think that's good? I like.
Yeah, I think it is.
I'll call you Panther Man.
Oh my God! Who doesn't remember from our time Buck Rogers in the 25th century? And since we named today Buck Rogers themed episode on IFB, we reached out and we were really, really lucky that we have a following guest, Mr. Paul Evans, south of England. And so there's a major time difference, and we really appreciate him coming on. He's the admin and one of the founders of the Buck Rogers and the 25th Century Fan Club on Facebook. They're over 5,000 members strong, and it's a worldwide group. And he's here with us, and he is a collector and owns original pieces from the show. So without any further ado, welcome, Paul, to Interfleet Broadcasting.
Hang on.
Oh, my God. What happened? Buttons?
I got to turn that on next time. Yeah, we're good now.
Yes, put that on. All right, we're good.
Here.
Yeah, there.
Yes, Paul. All right, cool.
Okay. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's the pleasure's ours, Paul. Tell us about the group on Facebook, and tell us about, Buck Rogers.
Well, so I think I wasn't really quite a founder member. I think the group was actually sort of started, and I joined it when there were a couple of dozen members. And then the guy who was running it, I think, sort of wanted to go off and do something else, so I sort of took over the admin. I can remember being quite pleased at the 100th member and the 200th member. But as you say, it's we're over 5,300 now. So the problem that we have with Buck Rogers is there's not a lot of new stuff coming out. So there's not a lot of new stuff to talk about. However, that's what it is. So I can link back Pamela Hensley, who played Princess Ardella. I know she was a guest star in The Fall Guy in one of the episodes.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. These earlier stuff here.
Now we just have to find a connection to Kevin Bacon and we're set.
Yeah, I'm not sure that one. So, 1979, 80, 81. So I was, 16, 17? No, maybe a bit younger. Ladies running around in spandex had a certain appeal.
No.
And yeah, I guess maybe I have to apologise for that nowadays.
Aaron Gray.
But nevertheless,
Maybe a little.
No.
But at the time, so yeah, I watched the series, and then it was repeated, and obviously it was on UK TV. And then at some point, I had toys, and I started to just pick up the odd piece here and there on auctions, Yahoo auction sites and things like that. Started picking stuff up, and then eventually sort of grew a collection. So I think I've now got 23 movie posters from different countries.
Oh wow!
As you say, actual collectibles from the series. Yeah, so that's Marky Post's costume from Plot to Killer City. A number of the costumes, posters. My 50th birthday present to me was a custom helmet. Which is that side behind me.
There it is. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that one's from. So that was in the episode that Dorothy Stratton was in, Cruise Ship to the Stars. And if people don't know who Dorothy Stratton was, she was the playmate who was murdered. So Death of a Playmate is about her. So yeah, there's a link on some of the bits and pieces. So that's hanging up in the other room. I don't wear them, which some people would question, and I have never had.
I don't think you should be wearing any of those.
Not those. Definitely not those.
None of those. Believe me, waists on film actresses from that era are very, very small.
Wow.
You would not believe how small they actually are. So the mannequins that they're actually on now, that some of the costumes actually wouldn't fit on them. Yeah, that was always a surprise to people who came visiting the house. There were 4 women upstairs, dressed in sci-fi costumes. And then behind there, you can see some of the posters. And that was, I think, when I had a fairly organised collection cabinet. But yes, it's grown. So I've got almost everything I think that they produced, sort of out of it, and various things that have got bubballoons. Does anybody remember bubballoons? A like tube of stuff that you stuck a straw into and blew, and it created.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's,
of course,
things like that from Buck Rogers, that everybody had. These things, the carded Mego 3.5 inch or 3 1/4 inch toys, are going for an absolute fortune nowadays. You can be paying $300-400 for one of those.
Jeez.
Wow.
And then some of the toys, if you've got original box toys now, some of those are up at $600-700. So they're tightly tucked away. Yeah, that's an unusual. Not that many were done with the 2 starships in. Yeah.
Are these actual originals?
They are foam, ones, but yes, they are original from the series.
That's cool.
Oh wow. Oh, that is awesome. Paul, how many do you have any pieces in your collection that are either exclusive to the UK, and or do you have the American pieces and collectibles that came out? How hard is it to get stuff like that?
Well, I mean, most stuff was jointly put across. I think, I'm not sure of the annuals, because I know annuals were a big thing in the UK. I mean, I didn't get those ones, but every Christmas growing up, Mum or Dad bought you an album of some description, an annual. So I don't know whether the 4 annuals were American. And then there's things like
No.
Looking, which is a teen magazine. You know, there's things like that. There's sort of British, probably more British English than American, but the majority of the stuff is, you know, Mattel toys or Corgi or Dinky or, you know, whatever. So, and I guess probably Korean manufacture at the time. Some of the sort of fakey ray guns, and I think maybe you've got a picture of one of the watches that's a communicator there that they had.
Oh,
if our editing suite is keeping up here.
Very interesting. Wow.
All sorts of bits.
So, have you noticed that sometimes the packaging in the UK is different than packaging of the same product in the United States? Did you notice a lot of that?
No, some bits. So some bits are much more American based than they would have been British. So there was a set of Topps bubblegum. You got 4 cards and a sticker in with a strip of bubblegum. Much more American than British.
We know a little bit about that because I made Chris eat one of those bubblegum strips from a pack of Battlestar Galactica cards that was 40 years old.
I wouldn't recommend it.
We did that on the show, and that was really funny. We had
Definitely
a good time.
Would not recommend that.
He can try a Buck Rogers one if he wants to. I've got a few of them.
Don't do it.
Challenge issued, and Tipsy Toaster must accept the challenge.
Well, after the stuff I've seen him drinking, I can't believe that's going to be any worse.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh boy.
So
how many books, Paul? Were there any like novels that you know of that were written?
Well, So there's there was obviously the original Armageddon 2479 or 2497, whatever. Then there were a couple written, and some were written around the RPG games as well. At the time. And then Andrew Gasker, has written a couple in the last 10 years. There's a couple.
He does the Alien games too.
Yeah,
I've got one over there that I could grab and see who the author is, but I think it's Andrew Gasker. And then so Dynamite did a comic collection 10 years ago or something from it, and there was the Whitman versions 10 years before that. But I mean, for Buck Rogers at the moment, we're starving from any new feed because of this ridiculous legal battle that is going on between the DeVille and Nolan trusts, and nobody's making any money out of it, which is the bit I really don't understand. They've got something strange there. They could actually put the gauntlet down between themselves and actually both be making lots of money out of a new generation of people. Apparently Clooney was in on it from Lighthouse.
Yep. I remember hearing about that.
But yeah, well, they killed off a previous thing 4 or 5 years ago with the litigation. But nobody's making any money out of Buck Rogers, and nobody has been for 30, 40 years. So I, on a fundamental level, just don't understand it.
It doesn't make sense. Absolutely not. No. So Paul, let's go with some of the obvious questions. Your favorite episodes, in the first season, and your favorite in the second, your favorite characters, that kind of thing.
So there are, I don't know, the plot to Killer City, but maybe because I've got a costume from it. Fly to the War Witch is another one. And then the thing that the first series had was, as you were sort of saying about the Fall Guy and those sorts of programs that were on TV at the time, obviously the studios had the actors on the books. So guest stars would be guest stars all over the place. So yeah, you can pretty much all of the cast of the Adam West Batman appeared as guest stars within within Buck Rogers. So Frank Gorshin
Wow.
was in there, Julie Newmar was in there. So yeah, you have all these in there. So I far prefer the first series, and I know that there's quite a big leaning towards that amongst the fans. Second series, not so much. And then, of course, you had the British influence in the second series of Alex Hyde White appearing, who
Battlestar Galactica.
I will remember from things like My Fair Lady instead. Yeah, British actor, obviously. But then guest stars in it. So Dennis Hybert, who played the president in the first series of 24. He was guest star in 4 or 5 episodes as sort of an ensign or a security guard or something like that within the second series. So popped up at various points. Then you've got the episode with Juliana Clay in it, who died very young. But she originally was going to be cast as Colonel Deering, because Erin Gray I think she was going to be doing another project. Then she got released from the project. So she came in to play or continue her role as Colonel Deering. Interesting blooper in the film concerning her, just about at the end. So they go and Buck goes in to destroy the Draconian warship. He's in there loading bombs, and Erin Gray, or Colonel Deering, flies in to rescue him. As she lands on the deck, and you look at the side of her helmet, it's got Colonel Deering in it. They cut away to Buck getting in and cut back to her, and suddenly the Colonel Deering has gone from the side of her helmet.
Huh.
About 10 minutes. So that's the only time I think that a helmet has actually got a name on it in the whole of everything. Just one little scene, and then it's a blooper. So yeah, guest stars, you name them, they were in there. In the what's her name? Jamie Lee Curtis was in there in episodes.
That's right.
Yeah, all
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
And a lot of costumes and things from Battlestar Galactica were used.
Oh yeah, a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, well, and actually the design for the for the Thunder Fighter, or whatever you want to call it, the starship, was originally drawn for Battlestar Galactica, but they went with a different design for the Viper, but then they reused that one.
Yes, that's right. Oh yeah.
I think you said target wrong.
So,
Planet of the Slave Girls, Vegas in Space. Yes, Sean. That's right. I remember that one.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Mediocre Modeler, thank you for joining. Sean from Battlestar Bulletin Board. Let's see. Clay Arden's here. And who did I miss? Jeff is here. Just want to catch up with all our guests from all over the world. It's incredible. Thank you for joining, everyone.
Can you just cut me out for 2 minutes? I'll be back, but can you just...
Sure.
Sure, we can. Absolutely.
Actually, we'll pull up. We'll do our Star Wars.
Yeah.
We'll do that. You good?
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
let's do it. All right. So,
I know he's got other things to do too.
Paul's gonna go. He's gonna grab a couple of things and come back and share some more with Buck Rogers. But in the meantime, we actually have Mr. Chris Fian. He is going to do our special report on all things Star Wars. Garrison Commander, the 501st Legion's Empire City Garrison, the ECG. So, Mr. Fian, welcome back to Interfleet Broadcasting, and tell us about Star Wars. What's going on in the world of Star Wars? A lot. So let us have it, man.
Yeah, well, in the past couple of weeks, I think the last time I was on, it was right before May the 4th, and I was mentioning that there'd probably be a lot of announcements and things coming for May the 4th. The only thing that was announced on May the 4th was the drop of the new Obi-Wan trailer, which everybody reacted very positively to. A lot more footage, more shots of Uncle Owen, better shots of the enemies in the show. the Inquisitors. Everybody was very pleased with the feeling and the emotions in that trailer and the confirmation that Darth Vader was going to be in it. And then you flash forward to about a week later and you see Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor going on their press junkets for Obi-Wan. So it's been confirmed that Darth Vader will play a major role in Obi-Wan, and everybody's very excited about that. So that's the first thing on the horizon for Star Wars. Immediately following that, there was a very large article released just this week in Vanity Fair. Definitely check it out. It's available online on the Vanity Fair site. Incredible amounts of information and some a special photo shoot they did with all the stars of their new TV series. And it looks like there's very exciting things on the horizon. A few takeaways from that article that were very interesting. The new shows on the docket, as we discussed last time, are Obi-Wan, followed immediately by Cassian Andor. We still really haven't seen any footage from that show. There was a behind-the-scenes thing they dropped about 6 months ago, but there has been no footage. Our suspicion is that for Celebration, which is Memorial Day weekend in California, the big every 2 or 3 year Star Wars convention, they're going to drop probably a trailer for Cassian Andor. So keep on the lookout for that the end of May, early June, because that would be in line with the timing for it to be released sometime in the fall. So we're going to see Obi-Wan, we're going to see Cassian Andor series Andor, immediately followed sometime at the end of the year, probably around December, with the next season of The Mandalorian, which everybody's really hyped about.
Oh, yeah.
That is just finishing up filming. Everything's in the can for that, and they just started filming Ahsoka, which will be the series that'll probably directly follow Mandalorian sometime early next year, probably in the spring. So on the television front, there's 4 things coming up that are already either in production or filmed that are just very exciting things coming up in the Star Wars universe. There's also another series that was discussed a little bit in the Vanity Fair article, and I think I had mentioned it the last time, called The Acolyte. Not much is known about that series. It's still in pre-production. It's going to take place, according to the article and Kathleen Kennedy, about 100 years before the events of Phantom Menace. So it's going to be interesting to see something set in a universe we haven't seen yet, the Old Republic, that we've only seen in video games and other tertiary type material, nothing actually on film or in a television series. So that's one very interesting development that was confirmed. And if they're mentioning it in the article, you can bet they're probably going ahead with it, and it's probably going to go into full production shortly. There was no mention of the Lando series, but it had been rumored a few months ago that they had already cast the Lando series and that was moving forward. That's probably something for later next year. Again, there really hasn't been much word on that. There might be new developments about that and more information about that coming up at Celebration. On the movie front, there was a huge shift that a lot of people picked up on that article. Patty Jenkins, who directed Wonder Woman, was supposed to be directing the very next Star Wars movie, which was Rogue Squadron, which was going to be about the pilots of the rebellion. It was going to be an all-star cast. She was getting this all together. The script was supposedly already done. According to the way, if you read it in the article, that's kind of been put on the back burner. And the first project that's going to come out is going to be not for about 2.5 years, and it's going to be by Taika Waititi. You may know his name from doing an episode of The Mandalorian that was very well received. He's done What We Do in the Shadows, and he's also done the 2 Thor movies, the 2 well-liked Thor movies, Ragnarok and the forthcoming, what is it, Love and Thunder? I think that's the name of the new. Yeah. So he's obviously definitely in the fold of Disney, and I think she's betting the farm that his skills with doing both the dramatic and sci-fi and comedy, the dramatic being Jojo Rabbit, which was an absolutely fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. She's betting the farm on his skills to bring Star Wars into the next phase, and I think he's now being tapped to do the next movie in the franchise, and she mentioned followed shortly after by Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron. So he's obviously been shifted into the front position, and whatever his project is probably being fast-tracked at this point. What was also interesting is that Rian Johnson is out, which I think is going to relieve a lot of Star Wars fans. For those who don't know, Rian Johnson directed The Last Jedi, which out of the sequel movies, most people considered the biggest disappointment of the prequel movies, just because of its difference in tone, some of his choices that he made. I think he's a very skillful director. I loved a lot of his movies. I loved Knives Out. I think he also did Looper, which was another favorite of mine. And even his early work, Brick, I was a huge fan of his movie Brick. I think they've soured on his take, and they're not going to proceed with his involvement. Now, there has been some rumors that he may be still involved in as a producer or a consultant or some other capacity, but I think they're betting the farm on Waititi's talents and his reputation and him now being in the fold with Disney, that he's going to commit to doing a new franchise. So that was some really, really huge news this week, and we were just very excited to hear it, and we're expecting a slew of information to come out of Celebration. That's usually where they save their big announcements, maybe drop some trailer information, probably the trailer for Cassian Andor. And the guests at this celebration are just going to be off the hook. For anybody attending it in California, Anthony Daniels is going to be there. Ian McDermott's going to be there. Other stars from various shows, including Ewan McGregor, are going to be there. Surprisingly, unfortunately, Mark Hamill is not going to make this one from the current guest list. But it's such a star-studded list of Star Wars folks that any Star Wars fan who attends is going to be in Star Wars heaven at that convention and probably get treated to tons of information firsthand. Be aware that if you can't get to California and see Star Wars Celebration in person, you should check out their website at Star Wars Celebration, and they are going to have multiple streams and live events and virtual events, so you can get out on the action live as best as possible. And all of it will be dumped on the public, just hours after it's announced at the convention. So just stay tuned for all the developments that are coming up in the next week. Memorial Day weekend, expect a slew of more Star Wars announcements and Star Wars information. So it's been a very busy 2 or 3 weeks, and I think the next 2 or 3 weeks are going to be heady as well.
Are you headed out there?
Outstanding.
I wish. We have a couple of our members heading out. I'm actually going to be in Hershey, Pennsylvania with my family. They had rescheduled this, just a little background. It was originally scheduled for 2020 when the pandemic hit. And they decided to reschedule it 2 years out. It was originally scheduled to be in August. They shifted it to May, which blew a lot of people's plans. We have a yearly family vacation that we do every May, and my family wasn't letting me get out of that. So it wasn't happening this year. Maybe 2 years from now when they announce, and they'll probably announce the next one at this one. Hopefully that will be somewhere that I can start planning for and get to, because that's always been a dream of mine. To get to one of the celebrations. But a lot of our members are going to be there. There's going to be a large 501st presence there. They have a 501st bash. Some friends of the Garrison, including actor Dominic Pace, who's a close friend of the Garrison, is going to be there. And he's going to, he played Gekko the Bounty Hunter in The Mandalorian. And he's parlayed that into a whole trip around the country. As a matter of fact, he's actually making a stop in New York, and he's going to be attending a local event that we're holding here in New York for cerebral palsy of Nassau County. It's going to be July 16th at Levittown Hall. He's actually going to be in attendance. Some other friends of the Garrison, including Greek god Papadon, who's a wrestler with Championship Wrestling, is going to be there. And we're going to have the Saber Guild. We're going to have a bunch of Star Wars costumers there in costume. So please come down and check it out. It's going to be a great convention to raise money for the Cerebral Palsy Convention. Admission's free. And there's just going to be some fundraising things at the event itself, like a raffle, some Jedi training, and some other things. It's from 5 to 8 o'clock, Levittown Hall in Hicksville on July 16th. Come check it out. It's called the CP Nassau Minicon. And we're hoping to make that something that we're putting on for the community and trying to raise some money for a great cause. We're also going to be at some upcoming conventions coming up. There's a Malvern comic book convention coming up shortly in June. I think it's June 4th. I'll double check that date. You could also check it out, our calendar, which is working now, on ecg.com. Check out our calendar for all our appearances, but the Malvern Comic Fest is one. That's in the beginning of June. And then in July, over July 4th weekend, we'll be at Eternal Con at Hofstra University, which is similar to the one you checked out, Pete. WinterCon is run by the same folks. There's going to be some various actors there. There's going to be a large presence from the 501st there. And I think her name is Emily Swan, who played the Armorer from The Mandalorian, is going to be there, along with a number of other guests from various other sci-fi genres. And then in August, we have another con coming up, which is the, I'm trying to think of the name of it, LI Tropic Con. And that's the end of August. And again, you can find out all the dates and specific information on our website. And in between that, we have numerous events that we're going to. This weekend, we have a walk at Pier 9 at New York City for the American Cancer Society. It's called the Lung Force Walk. And we're doing a bunch of libraries, walks, all kinds of events all over the summer. So please check out our calendar. If you'd like to check us out and support your local library or a local charity, please get out there and show your support. That's what we're all about, and that's what we volunteer our time to do, and we'd love to see you there and take some photos with you.
Oh, fantastic. Chris, thanks very much. And just for the record, right, you're representing Empire City Garrison, which is the New York chapter of the 501. So that's correct. You're just representing. I mean, there's all kinds of things going on.
Oh, absolutely. Check out 501st.com to find out your local garrison in your area or part of the world. It's an international organization. We have over 20,000 members spread out all around the world. If you're in another state like New Jersey, there's the Northeast Remnant Garrison. If you're in Florida, there's the Florida Garrison. There's garrisons all around the country. Look them up online on Google, or go to the 501st.com to look up your local garrison and then find out more information about what might be going on in your area if you'd like to check out the 501st in your neck of the woods.
Outstanding. Thank you very, very much. Chris, always, bringing us up to speed with, there's one thing that the ECG and the 501 doesn't neglect, and that is charity. And that is a big part of what we should all be doing. And that was one thing I always admired, was the fact that, not only are we fans, not only do we do this because we really love the shows, the movies, whatever it may be, and that we bring to life the characters, but we also do the charity work. So thank you very much for doing that and spearheading all that stuff. It's all good. It's all good. Thank you, Chris. And by the way, looking forward to having you come back again. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Richard Hatch's birthday is May 21st. So I know that you also happen to be a Battlestar Galactica fan, one of the big-time organizers back in the day. And being that it was Richard Hatch's upcoming birthday on the 21st, in between shows and the like, may he rest in peace. And I'm sure that he's smiling down on us wherever he, from up there. And, thanks again for tuning in and being with us, Chris.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, guys.
Take care. Thank you so much.
All the best, buddy. So, hey, Paul, you're back. I think Paul's back.
You can't be. Hang on. Give me a second. What?
Press the more button. Yes, press all the buttons.
Now we're back.
There you go. Hey, Paul, you're back with us.
Right. I am back. I'll apologise. I actually have multiple sclerosis, so there are times when things descend on me and I have to go sort myself out for a bit. So
that's fine.
Not a problem. We really appreciate you taking the time out and coming here and just having a good time with Buck Rogers. And I wanted to ask you, how do you, what keeps you going? What is it about the show and the characters that's kept you, connected? We have our own backstory and reasons, and I know that you have. Can you share some of that with us?
Erin Gray has actually said that when she goes to conventions or whatever else, and she's met people from the armed forces, or predominantly women, it is that say it. She was one of the first people, or women, in a leading commanding role in that sort of era. And there were elements of it that were, I think, different from some of the other series in the way that things were done, and it approached the dystopian future of, you know, the Earth no longer being around, which lots of things did, but it did it in a different way. And, you know, with all due reverence to Battlestar Galactica, you know, the 9 tribes disappearing off and then trying to reunite and things was a bit of a step for the imagination. If you read the original book from the newspaper story from the whatever it was, 40 whatever. It was about how he got. Well, it wasn't. It wasn't Buck Rogers at that time. It was Anthony Rogers.
Yep.
Got caught in ice and woke up sometime later, and then he had probably names that I probably shouldn't use at this point in time, although they are historically there in the book. But the sort of 2-3 commanding forces fighting against each other, and he was sort of thrown into that environment. And if you the original Buster Crab series addresses that. I think there's a dose of reality, certainly in what we're seeing now, in the way that actually some of that stuff was approached and done. And it's funny how sci-fi has that habit of commentating on things in one way that actually turn out to be maybe a bit closer to reality than anybody actually realized they were at the time. Yes. Although we're still 300 years behind, but yeah, it's funny how things turn out those ways. I think it's funny. Everybody falls into two camps, don't they? The original Battlestar people really hated the remake, or lots of them did, and then there's fans from the remake series. Any remake series is always going to have its fans and detractors. I'm waiting to see if they do actually manage to bring something to where the twist that they put on it and how that works. But I might not be here with the legal arguments that are going on by the time they actually manage to bring it to screen. But there's just a longevity. And the thing is, hey, look at us all. We're all about the same age. We all grew up with that stuff. We were all in our teens. It was the thing that excited us. Remember, I grew up watching Doctor Who, remember?
Oh, yeah.
And who would have thought, right?
Tom Baker.
If you've seen Doctor Who from the 70s, though, there wasn't CGI and the costume budget wasn't that big.
That's true.
Sprayed on tin foil and things like that.
Tom Baker. My favorite.
It was a step. I think you could probably say it was a step above a fan film.
Yes,
almost.
Well, nowadays, I think a fan film would probably outdo it.
Yeah, well, I guess you're probably right. You probably shoot it on your iPhone better.
The other thing that we had was Blake 7 was a big series.
Yes.
Here.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So. Yeah, and I think those things, and then, well, as I say, there was. Buck Rogers is the first thing I really remember watching, kind of all of, and then whatever day it was broadcast on was sort of making sure that I was home in time to see the next episode of it. That's the first thing I really remember.
Yeah, we were just talking about that not too long ago. It's like, hey, if you missed it, you're out of luck.
Yeah. Yeah, no repeats, no reruns. You know, if it was going to rerun, it was 5 years' time.
And it's one of the reasons why they did the way it was filmed. You know, it wasn't. There usually was never a continuing story. There were always new stories every week, and the reason behind that is because you may have missed something, Nowadays, you sit down and you Netflix and chill. You watch the entire season in one sitting.
Does Netflix and chill not have the same meaning in Europe as it does in America?
Just you relax.
Paul.
It's not what it is here.
Wow. Paul, tell us, how many of the original cast did you actually meet?
I have only met 2 at a Comic-Con in Stockholm years ago. But I've actually not been to a Comic-Con in the States or in the UK. I lived in Stockholm for 20 years. So a couple, I can't even remember who they were, but they weren't sort of main cast characters turned up. And of course, we're losing a lot of them now. They're
yes,
aging. And as you said, Richard Hatch and people obviously passed. But yes, and in reference to Star Trek, there's a call out in one of the episodes where over the tannoy it asked for Captain Pike to report to something. So there were all sorts of bits in it here and there that were calls to other things and other programs. So yeah.
Paul, one of our very good friends and supporters, the Mediocre Modeler, asks, are you a Space 1999 fan or a UFO fan?
I've got both. Watched both. Seen both. Again, you look at that stuff and the costuming nowadays. You can't get away with. But then I watched just about everything that was sci-fi. So I actually went to school with the guy who played Doctor Who's assistant. I can't remember his name now. Matthew Waterhouse is the actor. But after school he went on to play. Yeah. I was actually in the same cathedral choir as him. He was the lead singer, or not lead singer. He was the head chorister. And I was just one of the background ones. But yes. So, yeah, Space 1999, UFO. We of course had then all the Anderson stuff. So Joe 90 and Captain Scarlet and all that. So, and I've got collectibles from some of those as well. So I'm a general fan as well as being a sort of specific, but I don't have costumes for anything else.
Oh, wow. So, any recollections of? I know I've met Erin Gray and her co-stars, and a bunch of them at various conventions and at various times. I must say that Erin Gray left a really nice memory. She was very kind. She was very talkative. And it wasn't only about her presence at the autograph booth or table. She at the time was doing a lot of Tai Chi. And so she would invite everybody to go do some of that with her on the grounds of the convention.
Yeah. And, every year she would do a Tai Chi meet up in the mornings at Dragon Con.
Yeah. So cool. So yeah, I have a soft spot for the Buck Rogers crew. And it was kind of nice, when you grow up, like you were saying, Paul, we grow up with seeing them, and then once in a while you meet them and you're a little disappointed. But I can tell you that with the Buck Rogers crew, as well as others, but specifically Buck Rogers, it was a lot of fun meeting them at various.
I just met Gil Gerard last year at Dragon Con.
Yeah.
And he was great to talk to, of course, behind the plastic and everything. But talk about a salesman.
Oh yeah.
He was like, so what do you think of this shirt here? I designed this shirt, by the way. Wouldn't you like to have this shirt? He was great.
I'm trying to think of the name of the film with Sigourney Weaver and Tim Galaxy Quest,
wow.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Because let's face it, a lot of these guys are living on the income that they're actually getting from the Comic Cons and merchandising.
That's
and
true.
I don't have recollections of, because I haven't met them. When I had the motorcycle helmet done and I posted it and I linked Gil in that, and he was good enough to actually comment and nice job or something on it. So
That's
I
cool.
kind of have that from him. But yeah, as you say, I mean, obviously members from the group have met or been to Comic Cons. It's a rather expensive little jaunt to do from Europe.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. For sure.
So, I don't know. Maybe one day. I'm part retired. Maybe I find time for it.
On your bucket list.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Paul, what's tell us about some of your when you think of your collection, and I'm talking to Buck Rogers specific. When you think of collection or you mention it to other sci-fi fans, what are some of the ones that you always we're all collectors. We all have our various collections of things, but every once in a while when you talk about it, you get that smile on your face and you think, I have to mention this one and maybe this one. That's how I'm going to start off with that. What are those for you?
Well, the one that I'm most, I guess if the place was on fire and I had to grab something and run out, it would be the Joella Marky Post costume, because that's iconic from the episode. And she didn't half look bad in that episode, let's be fair. So, to have the costume that she was wearing in that. And what was it Carrie Fisher said about the director? Made her run around without a bra on, didn't he? Carrie Fisher's had this thing about, it was George Lucas who must have been said, yeah, they didn't have bras in the future. So, and that was one of the things that Carrie Fisher was on at every time she was interviewed, was like, yep, he made me run around without a bra on. That's pretty true if you actually look at most of those sci-fi things. Oh
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there's some humorous bits from when you look at it. There's that. I think then it's the wholeness of the collection that I've got, I think, is probably the thing, because it's just so many. I mean, it's lots of silly trinket bits, and I mean, I've got the lunchbox and with a flask in it, but then I've got the whole duvet set, pillows, curtains. Mm-hmm. I've got a roll of wallpaper. So, and then all those little boxed items and things. And I used to claim that I had the biggest collection in the world. I don't know that that's true, but there can't be many people with as much of the stuff. And I've been collecting it for 30 years. So.
You just can't imagine somebody being as crazy as you, right?
No, I think there are people that are crazy or crazier, but maybe not in the Buck Rogers way.
Correct. Yes. There you go.
I'll be honest and say I'm really glad it wasn't Star Wars, because actually I know the series of the models are completely different of the value, and you have to be really, really careful to go, oh no, that's a Series 1 Star Trooper as opposed to a Series 3 Star Trooper, and the value changes. Right. And so,
correct, absolutely.
I've got it at the moment. I've got the collection, but most of it boxed, just because I can't display it. It's too big to display, and I've got no idea where to display it.
In a museum,
because the Buck Rogers Museum. How many visitors am I going to get?
Yeah, well,
that's a shame that's what it comes down to. But Paul, I wanted to ask you, has I don't know that anyone has actually cataloged. There's Star Wars catalogs for the various collectibles, and there's other franchises that also have similar things. obviously not as big or as wide as the Star Wars one, the Star Trek, of course, but you definitely have enough that you could, put out like a catalog. Do you think that would be something that you would actually want to do?
It's certainly an idea. I did actually at one point. Funny story. I went to an insurance company and said to them, "Okay, I need to insure the collection," and they were like, "Well, how much is it worth?" So I said to them how much I thought it was worth. And they said, "Okay, where can we verify it?" And I went, "Well, really, I'm probably the expert on it, so I don't know." Which is and then the insurance company look at you stupidly, and you say, "Well, okay, you go and find somebody who knows it." So auction houses obviously would quote things, but you talk about something like a carded Bubballoons thing with Buck Rogers printed on it. Well, yeah. You tell me how much they're worth, because there's probably 50 left in the world,
right?
And nobody knows where 48 of them are, tucked in somebody's loft or attic or outhouse or whatever else. But yeah, I know I've got one. But then if somebody came knocking on the door and said I want one, well, okay, would I sell it? So, but there's other things that I have collected as well over the time, but I've made sure that I've tried to collect things that are limited versions of. Actually, I've got a stamp collection, but it's a very specific years of stamps. So I know that if you collect stamps with flowers on, it's a perpetual running thing. And actually, that's true with Star Wars and other things. That okay, there's a new film out. Disney or whatever are just going to throw out new merchandise is available. There's very little comes out of Rogers now.
Disney's not in it for the money.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, I can't remember the statistics. How much is made on merchandising versus the film, and it's like 10 times the amount on merchandising.
Oh my gosh!
Yep. Over the film receipts, which is crazy. So,
Paul, what are you missing?
What's the white? What do they call it? The white whale? The Moby Dick. The thing you can't catch.
What I haven't got is I don't have the original comic series because that's just ridiculous. So the one, hang on.
Excuse me.
This is the free comic day one. Try and find that original. So that's the free one. But this is doing $15 now to buy that, and it was given away free. But the original from that is pushing $1,000.
Whoa!
So yeah, they're not quite up with the original Superman, but it's a sizable amount of money to throw down on a comic that basically nowadays is going to be put in a sealed container that you're never actually going to open or see.
Can't play with it. I can't open it.
Yeah, exactly. Sheldon on Big Bang. No, you can't open that.
Paul, a good friend, supporter of ours, Carl Cullenschmidt, Team Viper. He's put together an actual 1-to-1 scale Viper. He mentioned that Felix Sela was in the cockpit of their Viper, and you couldn't see the top of his head, and he didn't want to get out. So he wanted to pass that on to you as a quick comment. And for Chris the Tipsy Toaster, it's a white whale. Thank you, Mediocre Modeler. Paul Roeder wants to know about your autograph collection. I would imagine you probably have all the autographs.
Yeah, I've got an original screen helmet. That's autographed by Jill, Gil, and Erin. And then I've got various. Have you got the white helmet there? No. Yes, there is one of the white helmet. No, keep going. There's a screen one.
Oh boy, yeah. Oh man, we're thumbing through. Tipsy Toaster's going through some of the pictures that Paul shared with us, and we're going to pull up
Stop.
hopefully we'll find the
roll back to the cabinet. Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Oh, we got it. All right. Yeah. There it is, guys. Wow. Very cool.
So the other side of it's autographed by Gil.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very
again,
cool.
not many of those. So yeah, apparently Gil had his own one made or done that was done for his own head, whereas most of them were
cool.
But then I think that's an early one from the original, from the film, because it's not got any other coloring on it.
I met him the first time I met him was, I think, about 4 or 5 years ago, and Gil was a guest at a local New York City convention called WinterCon, and Aaron Gray was there as well. But Gil had a collection of audio tracks from the music, the soundtrack that was used for the first season, and it had every single music track ever used. And he said that it was actually compiled for him at his request, and he only had a few copies left of the collections, and he actually was selling them. And I was there when he was talking to another fan, and he said that there were only a few of these left, and there weren't any other copies made. They were it was expensive, very, very expensive, in the hundreds of dollars. Well, expensive to me, but it was. He said that the original music doesn't exist compiled. Do you know anything about that? Does that sound interesting or anything to you?
I don't know about it. The only award that Buck Rogers got was actually for the score in one of the second series episodes, and it won an Emmy.
Emmy, wow!
For the and I think that's the only award the series ever got. But it was Stu Francis maybe that actually did the soundtracks of it. I mean, I've got the album and the cassette tape, and remember cassette tapes? Don't have the 8-track.
Sure.
But yeah, because I've got the film on just about every format that you could get it on. But
of course.
I just got the Blu-ray.
I've got the 35mm and the Blu-ray and the VHSs.
Oh, wow. Cool.
But I think, I don't know. I mean, I guess the music composition was I guess studio composers. So yeah, it could well have been. I have spoken. I've got an email contact to one of the women who was in the wardrobe department, and I've spoken to her. So she's got a few memories of putting together costumes and uniforms. So that's quite fun to talk to her on occasion.
That would be awesome. So, yeah.
Well, I can drop her a line and see if she'd be interested in talking to you guys at some point.
Oh wow, that'd be great. So.
Yeah, we'd love to have her. Absolutely.
Because we had Jean-Pierre Dorliac on. He was the costume designer for all of Battlestar Galactica. Yeah. And he did costume designing for Buck Rogers.
And Quantum Leap.
Well, so I know that lots of the stuff that was done was done under studio. So starships and models and things like that were actually swapped between Battlestar and Buck Rogers. Certainly guest stars were as well. I'm guessing costuming would have been as well. I don't see why they wouldn't have been sharing anything else. They were in the same studios, or it was being shot at a similar time.
Sure.
Jean-Pierre's had a good story in his book, and I don't know if he talked about it on our broadcast, but in his book he talked about how he was fitting some of the people from
Chris,
Buck Rogers.
Should I be moving my lips as you speak, or are you going to come?
Well,
on?
I just I'm in the background. It's easier that way.
Maybe you should be showing your hand so that people don't think you're operating as a puppet.
There you go. Come on.
No, so we had John Pierre Doliac on, and he had some great stories about Pamela doing her fitting and how she was really nice, and it's in his book. He talks about how he fit it, and something about something about her coochie hanging out. So this thing doesn't even fit.
Yes, that's right.
She didn't wear a lot. I think there's one episode where she's predominantly clothed and a midriff is showing. Just about everything else, very small bikinis and embellishments.
Oh boy.
Oh yes.
Paul, thank you so much.
The memories.
The memories. That's what this is all about. Thank you so much for taking the time out and reminiscing with us and talking about your collection and all this Buck Rogers and sci-fi in general, and it's you're amongst family here, and we all enjoy this stuff. And thank you for bringing to life in a different way our theme of Buck Rogers of the 25th century. And we hope that your Facebook group grows that much more. Hopefully we've had a positive impact. We know that we enjoy this, and all our followers and everybody else that enjoy Buck Rogers in the 25th century. Paul's Facebook group is out there, and don't hesitate to go over and join up and support Buck Rogers. We love Buck Rogers, growing up with it. It's a Glenn Larson production as well.
Fans feel the fleet. So, I mean, you gotta support what's left, and you gotta bring in new blood. You gotta bring in new people to watch the old stuff. Otherwise, your fandom's gonna die. Everybody's fandom will die unless you bring in new people, new blood, get people to watch it, and get people excited about it again. That's the key. Get Hollywood invited. Get Hollywood excited about it too. But it's a tough one.
It is. But that's why we're here. That's why we're doing this. So, again, Paul, thank you so much for coming on, taking your time out. I can't imagine. I don't even know what time it is there, and I'm afraid to ask, but I know it's at least 7 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time in the U.S.
2:30 in the morning.
Oh, boy.
Yep. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your stories and sharing all your stuff.
No problem, guys.
We're going to toast to you. This is to Paul and to Buck Rogers in the 25th century. All the best, Paul. Open door. Anytime you want to come back and share some more, you're welcome here at IFB. So here's to you. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Fans feel the fleet.
Stay well and stay safe, Paul. Man, that's so cool. Sometimes I'm floored by the guests that come on. Sometimes we have to, pull little teeth, pull the tooth a little bit to get somebody to come on. And then sometimes
it's hard. We were shocked to find out that he was in England. So.
Yeah. And then Paul was like all for it for the minute, I kind of pitched it to him. I said, listen, we're going to do the theme. And he was like, yeah, no problem. And, he was concerned that, he's had a British accent. And I was like, are you joking me? You willing to come on and go out of your way? No, we'd love to have you. Not to mention, you have a collection. You may be the Buck Rogers collector, and you have all this stuff, and you shared all his pictures, and that was kind of cool. So I think,
and then of course, the knowledge behind the scenes stuff, and people who don't realize that we have a lot of information for our fandoms that we don't. If we don't share it goes away. Hey, there's a cool. Of course, you got to put it down somewhere. You have to put it on a blog. You have to put it on a recording on a Facebook page like this, or YouTube or somewhere. You have to put that information has to exist, so it lives on.
Absolutely, and what's even cooler to me, Chris, is that Paul actually, Mr. Paul Evans Buck Rogers in the 25th century is not only an enthusiast, but he's actually a collector, right?
Yes.
So he's all up in this, right? So he does this stuff, and he does it, and it's different, right? We all kind of approach things a little differently, and we have people that are our friends and supporters, whether it be Paul Roeder,
Thousands
who
of
actually
yarns.
does. Yeah, man. He's into it, and he goes to the conventions.
Yep.
And he brings to life Commander Kane, and he's founded a lot of the groups that are out there related to Battlestar Galactica. And I know that he owns a lot of pieces or collects certain things as well.
Right.
But Paul does it differently. Paul's he's not the cosplayer. He doesn't do that stuff, but he does. So it's kind of cool. I just, that's what we're all about, guys.
Yep.
We're sharing our love for fandom, right?
Yep. We're sharing it and learning from it and finding other people who enjoy the company of and information that we have together. So there's people we can sit down and, talk about what if, it's just, that you don't get to do that with, well, I know I can't do it with my wife. I'll tell you that much right now. There's no way.
Listen, there's always, I'm into, what is it? Paul says he's into what? Collectica.
Galactica.
Yes. So, John Repper says the launch tube rail from Galactica was used in a funeral scene from an episode of Buck Rogers. Man, they were always reusing stuff just to keep costs
And that's what
down.
happened to a lot of the Galactica stuff, is it got destroyed or redone for other
Buck
things.
Rogers. Yeah. But that's kind of cool. That's why we're here, isn't it? What I liked very much about this is that we were able to tap into the fact that we have met probably the premier collector of Buck Rogers, collectibles and original items.
Right.
So I think that's really cool, man. How would you actually get that? How would you, where do you meet someone randomly? And, so that's why we got him on the show. I think it's really cool. It's another aspect of all the great things that we do. So I think we're indebted to, someone like Paul that came out and, shared his story with us. And we have more. We have other people coming as well.
Yep.
And I hope you guys are enjoying, the updates.
You find somebody from Airwolf. We haven't been able to do that one yet.
Man, you have no idea how difficult I was out there, and I shook the tree really, really hard, and I wasn't able to get anybody. But we're going to have a Star Trek update coming up, and so we're looking forward to that. And we'll have, of course, a regular Star Trek update, just like we're going to have with Mr. Fian, who is going to come back and do
which I was meant to ask
Galactica.
Mr. Fian when the Jar Jar Binks story is coming out. I've done everything else. Why
Oh,
not?
yeah. You wait for that.
Come on now.
Mediocre
If there
modeler-
was a toilet cleaner on the Death Star, they're going to have a 15-part story about that guy.
Oh, boy.
They're going to, how did he end up cleaning the toilet on the Death Star? What did he get?
Yeah.
He got demoted? Maybe he was a Supreme Allied Commander at one point in time.
Well, he was part of the sanitation group.
And now
right?
he's part of the sanitation crew because he got demoted because he let Han Solo loose or something,
Or something. Yeah. Mediocre Modeler says they make it seem like there was so much Battlestar Galactica stuff just lying around that they were tripping over it. So why not use it in Buck Rogers? Yeah, it really does seem that way. One of the things that
a lot of the
go into this
costumes
is-
that are in there, you can see them. You can match them up, especially like I think Digger's from the planet Serenity. Digger and when the Boreas come in. Anyways, that costume with the big buckle and everything else is in a lot of one of the Buck Rogers shows. So
right. Well, when they own all that stuff, right? When the production company owns all these costumes and props, why buy others or pay for them when you got them? So you just rehash it, and it keeps your production costs down. So I mean, all said and done, it's a smart move. It's just that fans like us, we can nitpick away and we know where all that came from. Everybody else doesn't know, but so cool. So grateful that Paul Evans came on, and hopefully we'll have him back again when we loop around again to do another show either on Buck Rogers or collections or the like. And
maybe we'll wander to England one day and run into him.
Yeah, that'd be cool too. There is a sanitation ship just off our beam, and Quark is on it. That's Clay Arden. Clay. By the way, Razor Ramon,
it has to be, what is it, a first-year cadet at the helm.
Yes, of course. I wanted to actually share a couple and John 1. John 1 was with us. I think he's still on as well. John, thanks for tuning in and
battling his minions.
Battling his minions. I also happen to be a big Stargate Universe fan, and just the last couple of days, I was able to get on eBay. I got a really good collection of 3 autographs that I was missing. This is one of the 3, and they're I'll just show you everybody. There's 2 seasons of it, and I got these.
Take them out of the plastic.
No, you don't take them out of the plastic. They stay in the plastic because they're originally autographed, and so
prove it. Take it out of the plastic.
So that's that, and I also got the lenticular set of 9, which is really cool for Stargate Universe. So I'm getting closer and closer to actually completing my full set of season 1 and season 2. And then I did share this with everyone. For those of you that tuned in later on, right? Fan club CD.
Yeah, we have to get Chris back for that one because he's all over it. He's actually listed on there for a contact for. He used to run the Battlestar Galactica fan club.
Yeah, and that I opened it up, loaded up on my PC, and man, I tell you guys, for those of us that are Galactica fans, there's some really cool stuff on there. Tonight, Chris, we are going to. I think we're gonna squeeze in
for sure.
The chapter for chapter 14 on Armageddon, and let's also mention that we are going to Awesome Con.
Yep.
We have a panel. We are lucky enough to have gotten media passes again, and so we will be covering the whole convention.
Awesome Con is awesome.
It is, and we are going to do the panel. It's Friday night, so for those of you that, what was that?
Don't forget to talk about the.
Oh yes. That's right. We gotta talk about that as well. But before we jump on that, I just want to make sure everybody is aware, as a reminder, that if you do go to Awesome Con, please let us know. Join us on Friday night at the panel. Fran Severin's going to be there, and George Zuvalos, filmmaker, is going to be there as well. So
CMOD's going to be there. So the Colonial.
Are they really?
CMOD?
Yes, they are. That's right. We're going to be hanging out.
I don't know if they'll be at the panel, but they're going to be presenting there. So
I would imagine
we all need to get together and have a rip-roaring good time.
Chris Marshall, Chuck Davenport, of course, part of our. They are part of CMOD, and they're going to be there. And they're, of course,
we owe them a beer at least.
RCG.
Yep.
And Mike Goudreau, I believe, will be there as well. Remember, we premiered his fan movie. So, we're going to catch up with everybody, and we'd love to see you guys. If you're there, give us a heads up. So Friday night at Awesome Con, we have our panel, and we're going to have a great time.
Come out and represent.
Oh, yeah, heck yeah. So we're going to have a good time. I think it's going to be great. You guys going to record and broadcast the panel?
Gonna try.
Yes.
We're going to try to broadcast it, but we will record it.
Yes, we will. And then, we're going to go around and do, we're going to try to do it live. We didn't think we could, but I think we proved
last year we were able to, I can't remember, it was there. I think we had a decent enough signal with my signal combiner thing that I have that we were able to do some live.
I think it's going to work, guys. So stay tuned for that. We're going to do all the interviews and things.
May not be the best video, but we'll make sure the audio works.
Oh yeah, that's audio is super important. But I did want to mention that John One was out at CradleCon this past weekend, and he rounded up some interviewees, so some contacts for us from the world of conventions and sci-fi, and he's going to bring us up to speed next show on what that was like. And you know what, Chris? Let me just quickly mention that our next show, we're going to have artist John Villerin is coming, and we're going to have
See the one
Star
with
Trek
they did the pictures of the
Cylon.
Yeah.
He did an original Cylon piece of artwork that he's going to debut for us on this show. That's is his creation. So he's going to be coming on the show. Tiburon is coming. John One is going to be on, and so we're going to have a lot of stuff going on. Paul says if I could, I'd want to. Pinball machine.
The pinball machines.
Oh.
If you want to come to America and play it, there is one in Roanoke, Virginia, at the Pinball Museum.
There is a Buck Rogers one.
Yes,
yeah?
I believe so.
Oh boy, you should go there and take some pictures for him. Oh yeah. So, all right, Chris, we I guess that's about.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Hold on a
cause.
second. Let me just show this off. I picked this up. This was a freebie that I got at the Paley Center when I went to see the Strange New Worlds.
Pictures next time, right?
Yes, I will have all the pictures of the entire crew. Their original costumes were on display, and you could get up very, very close, like just about you could get up as like 3-4 inches away from them, so you could really, for the cosplayers, could actually study them. So I thought it was really cool. Got a bunch of pictures. Very cool experience. The exhibit is on for, I believe, another week before they close that down. And what they did was they were debuting the premieres or pilots for every one of the Star Trek shows that were out there. So anyway, we're going to have more on that next week when we do our Star Trek, catching up with Star Trek. And Bran will be here representing. So we'll do that then. Meantime, I think Chris, did you actually pick up any new pieces or
not yet? They're hopefully coming, so we'll see.
Okay,
Got
all right.
coming.
So we'll just let that be.
What I was trying to get Pete to say is Lost COS.
Yes,
we did an interview with him at New York Comic Con, and we've been back and forth with him quite a bit in regards to the stuff that they were doing, and they are taking over a clubhouse or a nightclub, and they are doing. The best thing I can say is they're making it a cosplay club. So
yes,
June
that's right.
16th, I believe it is. We'll put it up on our site. I don't have the exact information on it, but it looks like it's going to be a ball. It looks like a really good time. It's a party with cosplay. So, and that's what the club is all about. That's what their movie was about too. I haven't seen their movie come out yet. I've been trying to prod them a little bit to see if I can get a good look at it. But they do have you go to Lost Cause on COS. You'll find the movie trailer. It's pretty good. So, you ready for the book there, sir?
Yeah, I'm actually commenting and responding to some of the posts from Brigitte and Sean. And I think, who else was it?
I shipped something to Canada the other day, and it was more than what the object was worth.
Yeah, it's just and anything coming out of the EU and or the UK is ridiculous. Actually, I have found the same item for less in shipping from Australia than it is from the UK.
Jeez.
That just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, guys.
Yeah, Baz, let me know how much that Cylon sword's going to cost to ship, by the way.
Yeah, like $5,000. Anyway, again, we just want to make sure that we let everybody know that we really appreciate all of you tuning in. We have a tremendous following in repeat when we put the video up.
Syndication.
And syndication. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in later on, sometimes in the thousands all over the world. So we do like that. It's really cool that everybody, wherever you may be.
We're glad we're entertaining you.
Yes, Mediocre Model says, I think if he builds the sword, you have to actually go get it. No getting it back through customs is a different story. Well, never mind. Okay, so yeah, I'm sure he'll have. Anyway, so we're going to chapter 14.
We'll talk later on that there, Pete.
Yeah, Armageddon.
You know some people there.
Battlestar Galactica, Richard Hatch, Christopher Golden. As a matter of fact, through your mischievous laughs, Christopher Golden, we are in contact with
November,
and Mr. Golden. We expect to have him on later on in the year, and I mean, later on towards the end of the year.
Right, it won't be on a weekday. It'll have to be a weekend. That's kind of the rule he laid down when we talked to him. So we will probably do a weekend broadcast or a recording for him.
Yeah, because we definitely want to get him on. So
yeah, it'd be great to talk to him about his books and as well as his back and forth with Mr. Hatch.
Yeah, it's got to be tremendous. He's got to have some really good stories. So yes, we will bend at the knee and we will have him come on whatever the weekend is later in the year. We'll record it. You guys will know. You can watch. It'll be up live.
You watch live first. We don't do anything recorded if we can't help it. We will record it, of course, but we always like to go live because we're going to talk anyways. So why not have people online?
We do have a couple of interviews, believe it or not. Now that we brought this up, I just want to make it known that we do have a couple of interviews that we have recorded that we have not had a chance to put out. So that will happen as well.
This thing. You got a mouse in your pocket?
Well, since one of us is the first amongst equals, I'm just going to say that yes, this is going to happen.
Sooner or later, we'll get to it. I know it. It may come out as a podcast because there was one that was just audio only. He didn't want to be on camera. So.
Yes, at all.
But he had some really good information, and if he ever is watching this, I apologize that we haven't had it out yet.
Yes, that is true. So we will, and that's kind of why I brought it up. Sean says, really like to hear how that collaboration worked. I know that's part of what we want to get to. Find out if there was anything else, how the story developed. I mean, there's a lot that's going on in the book. There's, as a matter of fact, tonight we're going to talk about, something that is very near and dear to Chris's heart.
Yes.
And I know he's going to make some crazy comments about it. And I would be curious to know how that came about. So I guess without further ado.
It was in the Second Coming, so I think the original idea was to begin with. So anyways, shall we get started on Chapter 14 of Armageddon by Richard Hatch and Christopher Golden?
So we begin the chapter with Starbuck, who has been basically stranded on a planet that is just being torn apart. Ochoa, yeah.
Ochoa.
He's in the wreckage of the Cylon repair bay.
Yeah, and in last chapter, he, I'm probably going to make people angry when they start talking about, why they do this. But in the last chapter, he pried open the planet's coming to an end. What do I need to do? Well, I'm going to sit down and pry open the. Yeah, pry open.
No. You know what? Yeah. Okay.
So
why? I don't know. Okay. So
I didn't get it. But that was last chapter.
Starbuck has a little bit of, like a realistic spin on things, right? There's this strange fascination on knowing what the Cylons are about, but he can also realize, like anybody else, that he's probably totally, completely stranded, and there's no way that he's going to survive.
Right.
And so his fascination.
But his idea with going down there is to find a craft that maybe he could get out with.
Craft, yeah.
Not to go down there and pry open the armor and look what's inside. But
because
he's inside of it, let's talk about it.
Yeah, but he's got nothing else to do. He feels he's stranded. He knows that he believes inside of him that there's probably no chance he's going to get away. So why not?
Come on.
Why not find out find out once and for all if the Cylons are actually robots, or are they actual creatures?
Spoiler alert.
And so he does.
Yeah. So he pries one open in the last chapter, and then we get a little bit more in depth in this chapter, and it starts off with he pries it open and he realizes that it's scaly, like a cold-blooded animal on Caprica. So
but before
like a
that,
lizard.
wait a second.
What, would I miss something?
I know this is a priority for you. Hold on a second.
Okay.
He talks about, so again, and this is why I kind of was bringing it up, because you're like dismissive of, like where his mind is. He's kind of a little bit all over the place, and even conjures up thoughts. Well, I don't know what conjures up, but he starts reminiscing or thinking about Cassiopeia.
Yeah. Does she miss me?
And his demise, and his daughter.
Where she's,
yeah.
Because he's going to die.
Yeah, he's going to die. So why not find out what the deal is with the Cylons?
Yeah. No, so they pry him open, and there's Cylon flesh, and he's
gray-colored flesh.
Yep, with scales.
Scales. Yes.
And then it also the rough and ridge.
Humanoid.
Where's the thing I wanted to read? Like a humanoid inside the armor, and not some sentient blob of alien flesh controlling a robot soldier. Cylon body had arms and legs and a torso, just as humans did, but the Cylon's upper torso was trapped beneath the portion of the ceiling, and they didn't get to see his face, so they just could see part of his body.
Yeah, he wanted to take the helmet off.
Right, he wanted to cut it open, but
yeah, he couldn't do it. He didn't. He just, there was no means. Because if he could, he would have. It would have been to find out definitively, are they? So like what are they?
Place is coming down around him. He's doing He's dissecting a Cylon.
I know, that's kind of cool.
That's kind of weird.
Weird. He wants to know once and for all what the heck this thing is about. He says
so he can take it with him to the grave. So, no. What does he do?
Are you jealous?
Yeah. What does he do? He goes to the comm station in the far corner. This is another one of those things that I didn't get. I was like, what? Come on.
He goes to the comm station.
Cylons don't have cybersecurity.
They don't need cybersecurity. They are the cyber. So what the heck do you need cybersecurity from?
So he goes to the thing in the corner. And there's no keyboard or anything else, and he just talks out to it. And
he explain it. And the
go ahead. Go right ahead.
It's because he figures out, and remember that in the past, he'd been captured.
Yeah.
He figures out, it dawns on him, that the Cylons do speak Kobolian. They speak the same language that the Colonials speak.
I wonder why that is.
Well,
dun, dun, dun.
Because I don't know, because
because the humans are descendants of the Cylons. Okay.
Wow. How long did you sit on that one? Did you just make it up?
Hey.
You must. Oh boy.
Humans are descendants from Cylons. Multi-years.
Yeah, I don't think so. Tipsy, you jealous? I don't know. I don't know what the heck. Tipsy's all over.
So, anyways,
the place,
he goes to this thing in the corner, and he goes to it, and he doesn't understand anything on it, so he tells it to speak Kobolian, and it does.
Yeah.
So virtually, he's found Alexa on the base.
Come on.
He's found Alexa, so he's like, "Hey Alexa, give me the base star plans. Hey Alexa,
why not?
Give me
and it worked.
She's listening to me. I don't know if you heard her.
Trey says, They need the language for interrogation purposes. And there you go.
There you
Boom.
go.
Done. Thank you, sir. Well done. Well said.
So
Well
he's
said.
got the A. If I say her name again, she's going to answer me because she was just in the background
Don't.
a second ago.
Then don't. There's no need for it.
So he's asking it to get information on Cylon bodies because they really don't know much about the bodies and what it is. And then of course he also asks it to download the information into what was it? A ball of some type.
Yeah. Portable storage sphere.
Sphere. Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, spheres.
So you ask it to download it to a storage sphere. So of course there's no cybersecurity whatsoever. So you can just walk up to any communication device in the entire base and ask it for the Death Star plans. And
they are the cyber. And he asks for the schematics, and he got them because they are the cyber.
And then this little section ends with, "Ooh," that's what he says.
He doesn't say that.
Yeah, kind of. It says, by your command, Starbuck began to read slowly and slowly smiled.
By your command, the computer replied. That's all. That's what it says.
No, Starbuck began to read. No, Starbuck began to read and slowly smiled.
Yeah, what the heck do you? Oh, so you're hearing the sound effects.
I'm hearing the sound effects for. Oh, come on, Starbuck. Starbuck. He has a type thing.
Boy.
So then we go back to Apollo. So if you remember in the last chapter, Apollo was getting his pogies kicked out of him by the new Cylon fighters. And he was just about ready to die, of course, once again. And the ship of light shows up, and he's whisked away inside the ship of light. So he's waking up inside the ship of light. And
Zach is one of the...
Yeah. So he wakes up and he's hearing a voice. So that voice sounds familiar. And he slowly turns his head, and there's Zach.
There's Zach.
And instead of like, well, it's great to see you, it's like, you're dead. Zach's like, no.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
And then the one thing that stood out, so there is an exchange, right? Yeah. Again, when sometimes we don't get into the details. You guys got to read it for yourself. It's really good. But the one thing that really
go ahead
that stood out was the background that Zach told Apollo, which is a couple paragraphs down.
Yeah,
is kind of what stood out for me. But it says, right? It talks about many millennia ago, the human race began on the planet called Parnassus.
Right.
This you know. You also know of the destruction of Parnassus and the migration of the House of Kobol to a new planet.
A couple of chapters back, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So there's, yes. So Mediocre Model says, so the planet is coming apart and Starbuck has time to read the Cylon-based Star technical manual.
Thank you, Mediocre. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Wouldn't you? You wouldn't. You're going to find out where you are. You're going to read the technical manual, and that's all there is to it.
I don't know.
Oh, stop! Well, come on, man. Come on.
Anyways,
so go ahead.
So I think one of the things they did in this chapter I guess this chapter was built for those people who never knew about Battlestar Galactica, because it also mentions the Cylon fleet, the attack. Baltar had negotiated for peace. Baltar had lied. All of that stuff is kind of put into this chapters for those people who did not go and watch Battlestar Galactica originally.
Yeah, so they picked up the book and
but
then they talk a little bit again back and forth, Chris, and again the other thing that stood out to me was right, I'm going to give away the reveal and the Kobol thing.
Yeah.
So, between Apollo and now Zach, Apollo's like talking to Zach, and Zach's almost like a ghost or a spirit or whatever, an angel or something.
Right.
And so Zach tells him,
and we get a background of who they are.
Yeah. But Yeah, he says, we are the lost 13th tribe, Apollo. We are the Kobolians, the lords of Kobol.
So they do a really good jump back and backstory on this in regards to who are the people in the Ship of Lights, and these people are the Kobolians. They're the lost
evolved.
13th tribe, and of course they're going to tell us where to find Earth.
Which is great. Yes, stop nodding your head. For those that can't, for those that are listening and not watching, you know, the Tipsy Toaster, Chris is just, oh boy. All
the
right.
13th tribe's going to tell you how to find Earth. They're not going to do that.
Well, you don't
We'll take all the fun out of it.
Anyway.
So, yeah, but Zach is able to answer a couple of questions. Apollo gets to eat. Apollo finds out he's not dead, but he's kind of in a limbo. The other thing is Apollo, there's like, oh, you've been sleeping for a number of days, and Apollo freaks out because he's like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be going to save Starbuck. And they're like, no, it's okay. Because when we put you back into your world, it'll only a couple of moments would have passed. Wish I could do that with my teenage years. But could this be like the Ship of Lights now, and I could just jump back? Yeah,
well, then
nice.
you wouldn't have joined the Navy, and you wouldn't have seen the seven seas.
Join the Navy and see the world doesn't mean you're going to stop anywhere. That's one of the recruiters love that
funny.
stuff. But anyways, we're going to digress. So join the Navy, see the world doesn't mean you're going to stop anywhere. You can. Hey guys, look, Curacao. Hey guys, look, another place over here. Hey guys, look, Cuba. We're going to stop there. Yay!
That's funny.
So, but Apollo, he's a little unsteady. He's finally eating. Zach is giving him some backstory in regards to the Pete was saying the backstory of them being the 13th tribe and Kobolian and how they can communicate via telepathic powers, which was kind of in the other chapters as well.
Yes, there's telepathy in this.
Yep.
And then they also mention Count Dibley.
Yes. Now, we get a good little backstory in Count Dibley and who he is.
Yeah, come on, tell us.
So he was a Kobolian, but he fell from grace. It's like, almost sounds just like the Lucifer story.
Yes.
If you're familiar with the Bible, it's the exact same type thing.
Yes.
And they talk about the Cylons and how Dibley was part of that.
Yeah.
So he was censored by other lords, broke ranks. So he's talking about Count Dibley and horror. How do I beat Count Dibley? Count Dibley can't. He pretty much, Zach tells him, Count Dibley can't kill you. Well, it's a funny way he puts it. Well, we don't think he can kill you. It's possible.
Well,
maybe.
we know better than that.
We don't know for sure.
We know better than that.
So, and then so Dibley is, it give you a little bit more backstory. Of course, once again, the book was written, so if you picked it up, you could understand that there was a moment in time when the Galactica was, almost taken over by Dibley and Apollo 1. So he's like, how can I combat Dibley if he comes from me? He comes from the Kobolians, and there is no combat. Zach explains, Dibley cannot destroy one of us cannot destroy one of us with physical direct violence. It has to come from within you. So you have to destroy yourself.
And then we make our way to the inevitable question that you brought up before.
Right.
And that was, where is Earth? Apollo confronts Zach with it and says, tell me where Earth is. And he says, I can't do that. And then Zach packs.
They're like, hey, you need to go back, and they're on the way back. So I just have one more question before you go. And Zach's already doing the telepathy thing. Yeah. And so we only got time for one more answer because you got to get in the Viper, which I love the way they say the Viper is like pure white as well. It's just this uniform is white, and the Viper's white too. And
tells him, he asks him,
hey, where's Earth? He says, I can't tell you because. Go ahead, Pete.
Dun dun dun. We don't know where it is.
Son of a.
Right. So the idea is that they've never, right? So they've never been to our universe, right? So galaxy, they don't know.
Right.
So it's just okay, fine, right? That's it.
Can you hear Paulo though? That.
All right, calm down. Calm down.
You know, he's like, you.
So now, and that's how the chapter ends.
And that's how the
folks.
chapter ends. So you have to tune in next week to find out what happens after that.
Tune in next week to find out what happens next.
Yep.
Listen, everybody, thank you so much for hanging in there.
Yep. Sorry we don't have time for the comic book tonight, although it's right there waiting. So if you're going to go back and see it, Journey's End number 2 next week, not this week, evidently, because we just ran out of time.
I also have some goodies from back in the day that I dug up in a file that I found. Some Battlestar Galactica stuff that hasn't seen the light of day in 40 years. I'll share that with everybody next show. And listen, everybody, stay safe and be awesome. Fans fuel the fleet.
Awesome.
And yes, I said that. What is that? You don't? Are you okay?
You sound like my wife.
That's what I said.
She's from Boston.
I said that.
She's awesome. Get some awesome.
Yes,
Go get the beers. It's going to be awesome.
Okay, so you are on the verge of being disrespectful.
Oh, pardon me.
You are not allowed. That is, you know what that is? That is
cultural appropriation.
You said it. You took it away from me. You stole my thunder on top of everything else.
I'm sorry. Did I appropriate your culture?
You're mangling the New York style of speaking, and I forbid it. So that's the end of that. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. We love having you on board. Keep clicking the thumbs up and the like buttons. Don't forget to tell your friends about our show. If you want to contact us, you know what our email is. It's info@interfleetbroadcasting.com. And for me, New York Pete, stay safe. See you at our next show. Keep the faith, and remember, from me and from Chris, fans fuel the fleet. And I wish you guys all the best. So, Chris?
Yep. Well, thank you. Whoops. There we go. Let's try that again. Thank you. And we wish you a good week. And we'll see you in 7 days. Is it not 7? Is days the right word? What's it? Cycles. No. Cycles? Yeah.
Yes.
We will see you in 7 cycles, everybody. So, fans fuel the fleet. See you then.
Take care, everybody.